All right, so thanks a lot, everyone. My name is Vakar. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the company, and we have Ahmad with us, who is from the technical side, and he is the CTO of the company and co-founder as well. Today, we're going to be talking about the setup of Usermaven, and we'll take you from setup to setting it up in different reports like web analytics and product analytics, funnels. We won't go into too much detail, like explaining all the individual modules, but we'll focus mainly on the setup part of Usermaven because a lot of users that we have spoken to, they find some difficulties in setting them up and they don't set it up in the right order. So our focus in this webinar would be on setting Usermaven up in the right order so that you can get the accurate data and accurate insights out of your analytics. Uh, Before I go into the setup, I'll briefly talk about why. Let me change the view here. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see that.
Perfect.
Yep.
So I was talking about why we built Usermaven and who is it for. So Google Analytics, how it ended up from GA3 to GA4. There have been a lot of problems for marketers, like setting it up, migrating your data from GA3 to GA4, and then the reports that you got out of GA4. It all, got pretty confusing. And while running Content Studio for my own SaaS companies, Content Studio and Replug, while using them, and we use different tools like Mixpanel, Google Analytics, and a bunch of other tools. But there was no other tool that provided website analytics and product analytics in a single platform. So our thought was that we can present the data in a simple, meaningful way without over complexity of the reports and having all the important metrics for any kind of business, whether it's a service-based business or a SaaS company, in a beautiful, simple dashboard. Our focus has been on simplicity. For simplicity, there are a few things that you need to be mindful of. The first thing is events. How do you capture them? So Mixpanel, GA, they don't capture events automatically from the front end. So that's what we focused on. And Usermaven can automatically capture all of your events. For example, button clicks, form submits, link clicks. So all the actions that take place on the client side, they can be tracked automatically. And you don't have to ask developers to track buttons. And this is pretty handy when it comes to updates. For example, if you update your website or if you update your product, like features within the product, and you don't have to go back to the developers and ask them to track new buttons because the tracking code of Usermaven is already there, and all the new buttons, all the new functionality is automatically tracked. And there's another way of looking at it. For example, you made some updates in the product, but you forgot to track them. And now 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road, you or your team needs some insights from your analytics data. Now you will have all the important data with you because all the button clicks and everything is tracked. So you can just select the previous period from the time you install the tracking pixel, and you will have all the data with you, and you can create all sorts of insights out of it. For example, creating funnels or looking at user flows with journeys, or maybe any other kind of report. So these are two of the main benefits that you can get out of Usermaven. And the third thing is, by bypassing ad blockers. Right now, a lot of tech and nerdy people, they use ad blockers. And according to a recent survey, like 25 to 30% of the traffic can be lost in the analytics because of those ad blockers. And some of the new browsers are also blocking uh, tracking analytics and all kinds of other third-party scripts. So that's where user Maven comes in, and it helps you to first to make your pixel first party, and it doesn't get blocked by ad blockers. So you get like close to accurate, like 100% stats. So no traffic is lost, no stats are lost. You can be confident that the stats you're looking at are 100% accurate. Um, and yeah, Ahmad, did I miss anything which you
Now,
would like to?
no, I mean that's about it really. So this new wave of browsers and I think Chrome is also going to do that soon. They're just blocking the third-party trackers whatsoever, which means that all the tracking like Google Pixel, that's going to be blocked on a lot of your users, which is creating very bad results in your reports basically. So the more accurate the data you get, the more better value you can drive out of it. The more accurate your business decisions are going to be based on the results. So by making it first party, you skip all that and you have accurate results.
Yeah, and while doing that, we also took care of the privacy friendliness of the analytics because, in Europe, GDPR, and in UK, we have PECR. In California, we have CCPA. So there are lots of new regulations coming in. So we have like two different modes that you can use in user Maven. One is cookie based, one is without cookies. We'll talk about that in detail while we set that up. Um, so yeah, now I'll just start sharing my screen and I'll go through the user Maven dashboard. Yeah, let me know if you can see the dashboard of user Maven.
I can see it.
Perfect. Yeah, I might just keep a look at the chat as well because I'm just
Yes.
looking at the screen. So
No,
if there's
I'll
any,
keep a look. Yeah, no
yeah,
worries.
just let me know. So this is one of the demo workspaces in user Maven. By the way, this is the testing or the staging environment. So you might see some of the new features coming in. So don't be surprised if you see something that is not in your dashboard. So you'll probably be having that feature pretty soon as well in your dashboard as well. And the data in this is combined with the data from one of our real products, Replug, and some of the dummy data that we have in this testing environment. Um, so let's start off with the setup process. So when you set up a new workspace, you will be presented with the options to add your tracking pixel. Now we have different kinds of integrations here. For example, you can integrate via JavaScript pixel. You can use Google Tag Manager. If you are a SaaS company and you're using Segment, then you can automatically integrate with a single click with Segment by using this API key and server token. We have SDKs for React. We have SDKs for Next.js, Python. We have a WordPress plugin as well if you want to integrate with that. And we also have an API if you want to send custom events or if you want to do server-side tracking. So starting off with JS, um, when installing the tracking pixel, you have to keep a few things in mind. So number one is whether you want to use cookieless tracking mode or you want to use cookie-based tracking mode. Now it depends on different factors like where you are situated in the world, what kind of privacy concerns do you have. We have spoken to a lot of companies in US. They are much less concerned about privacy, and they're pretty okay with using cookie banners and letting their users know that they're using cookies. Whereas in EU, we have seen a lot of people being concerned about using cookies. So in that case, it's better to use cookieless tracking mode. Um, so the difference between those two modes is like in cookie-based tracking, a cookie is dropped every time a visitor comes to your website and user memo tracks it. So when it comes in next time, maybe one day later, or maybe 1 week later, as long as the cookie is present on their browser, uh, we identify that returning user and we stitch their activity with their previous activity. So which creates a journey for that specific user. Now it's important to note here that The activity would only be stitched if the cookie is present and the person is visiting from the same browser. For example, if the person switches browser, then the cookie might not be present, and then in that case, that same person can be considered a new user. Now, coming to cookieless tracking, in that case, we drop cookies. There is no cookie involved in that process. What we do is um, we anonymize all the personal identifiable information like their IP address or any other information that comes in from the browser. We anonymize it and create a hash uh, for that specific user. So that hash is basically used to track the next session of that specific user. Um, so instead of cookies, this method is called fingerprinting, where we fingerprint that user. It's still kind of a gray with respect to GDPR because now previously there have been a lot of focus on cookies, but now fingerprinting is also being talked about, like whether it is GDPR compliant or not. So we are looking at introducing a third mode that will not even fingerprint the users. But the downside is that the returning users would only be tracked for 24 hours, which means like when the first session comes in, we'll create a fingerprint of them, a hash. Um, it's also called a salt in technical terms, and then we'll delete it after every 24 hours. So no session remains in the database more than 24 hours. I mean, the identity of that person, and then it's deleted. So the returning users can only be identified for 24 hours. So it depends how accurate analytics you want, where you are located in, and what kind of privacy concerns do you have. Based on that, you can choose your tracking mode from cookieless tracking or cookie-based tracking. Um, yeah, Ahmad, is there anything that I might have missed on this?
No, I think we're going good. You covered most
Perfect.
of it.
Yeah. So the next point to note here when adding tracking pixel is whether you want to capture front-end events automatically or not. So there are a lot of companies that do not want to track events automatically because uh, there can be a lot of visitors or they can have uh, a product that's clicked a lot on useless elements like they are not buttons. For example, a design editor, it can have a lot of different options that people can use. So in that case, you can turn off the auto capture events and you can send in events manually. But for most of the businesses, we recommend turning it on because you will be at much ease later on because like 95% of the events that you want to track would be automatically captured and you won't have to ask the developers to use custom coding to track events. So you can easily enable or disable the tracking options from here. So for example, when I turn this off, you see that here a line or a parameter is removed and added. Similarly, for cookieless tracking, another parameter is added here if you want to use that. So when you turn it on or off from here, please note that you have to reinstall this or copy the code again and paste it in your property on your website or in your app, wherever you have pasted the code before. Um, and then we have white label pixel tracking to bypass ad blockers, which basically does change the URL of the tracking script. So for example, here you see now the pixel is white labeled, which means we are tracking Replug website with replug.io, replug.io. If I turn off the white label here, you would see now we can see here usermaven.com. So when this pixel is pasted in your website, you can clearly see that usermaven.com tracking pixel is there and the browser can see it, the ad blockers can see it. But when you turn off the white label tracking pixel, the pixel becomes or belongs to your own website. So the browsers and ad blockers might not see it as a third party pixel, and you would be bypassing ad blockers and getting accurate stats. Installing so before you can turn off this option, you have to go to this option pixel white labeling, and there's a simple process. Like you can choose any parameter here. uh, Let me try to edit it here. Yeah, here. It can be like you can type in any keyword here, but do not use like tracking or analytics or something like that. Just keep it random. It can be like t.yourdomain.com. It can be yourdomain.com. But if a lot of people use it might also be added to the filters of ad blockers. So we also not recommend that. But use just random keywords here. It can be any specific keyword that you can use. And yeah, once this is updated, you have to add a DNS record in your domain registrar, where you have to add a CNAME. We have a complete guide for this in here, which you can check it out. It's pretty simple. And once that is done, you will see a check mark here. Yeah, now, yeah, you can see here that it's connected again. So once that is done, let's go back to the setup. You have installed the tracking pixel. Make sure that every page of your website is having this code, because if um, any page is being missed, it would be coming in as a referrer. Like the tracking pixel would see it as an external link and it won't be tracked. So that can create some discrepancy in your stats. So make sure that this code is present on each and every page of your website. Then, if you're a SaaS company, you can send in your users' attributes. What I mean by that is, like whenever someone signs in or signs up, you would definitely have an ID in your database. So based on that ID, you can link it with Usermaven, pass the same ID, and the email that the person used to sign up, and the account creation date. You can send any attributes that belong to that specific user. It can be their first name, last name, their plan, um, uh, any attribute according to your SaaS product. For example, in the case of Replug, we can track like how many links they have created, which plan they are on, whether they are an agency or whether they are a service-based company, type of company, and so you can pass any kind of attributes here. And if the product can be used by a company which has multiple users, then you can also pass the details of the company. So, for example, one company can sign up and then they can add multiple users, and then Replug can be used by multiple users within the same company. So, in that case, all the users that you add here, uh, they would have the company name as well, and they would be automatically linked. So in the same scenario, you can pass the attributes for companies here as well. Yeah, it's pretty simple, but if you run into any issues, you can reach us out on support, and we'll be able to help you out. And the third step is, sending important events. We have here two different kinds of events: pinned events that are automatically captured, and then you can also send custom events as well. I'll be talking about that in a bit more detail now. Amar, do you have anything to add here? Or if you have any questions from users that we can answer now, or maybe we can answer at the end.
So I think for the questions, we can take that at the end of the session. Just a quick comment over here for sending in the company information. Either you can send it any user identify call, or you can also send a separate group call for identifying the customer. So we support both.
Yeah, perfect. So there are a couple of other things while setting up user Maven. Um, this one is also important. So you can exclude the internal traffic. For example, if you're using your own website, yeah, like visiting your own website a lot of times every day, and if you have a lot of team members who are also visiting the website or app or whatever product you have, then it's important that you exclude those visits from the analytics. And for that, we have a Chrome extension. So once you install the Chrome extension, you have to just turn it on, like don't track any analytics for that specific user who has installed the Chrome extension for replug.io, for example. And then those stats will be automatically excluded. There are a few other options like you can add here IP address. If you have a static IP address, this is pretty handy. Like you can just put in the IP address of the people who are internal users of the company. And if you want to exclude them from Context Hub or some other places, you can use host name as well, or you can use email as well. Uh, Let me turn it on to show you. For example, here we have added replug.io. So all of the internal team members who have an account with replug.io, they are automatically excluded. And yeah, you can add IP address as well. Pretty simple. Bot traffic is excluded by default, but if you want to um, turn it on for some reason, you can do that just to compare your stats. And reporting preference, this is for SaaS companies. If you have a SaaS company, you can select the preference, like whether you want to base your reports on users or companies, whichever is more important to you. You can select reporting currency. That will be shown everywhere with the same currency that you select here. Then we have reporting period. So any reporting period that you select here would automatically be the default period in Web Analytics and in some other areas. So you don't have to switch the reporting period again and again. You can customize your menu. You can change anything, turn off anything that you don't need. So, for example, if you're not a SaaS company, you can turn off product insights from here so that you can make the sidebar much more cleaner. If you don't use Context Hub, just turn it off, and you can turn on anything from here anytime you want. Um, Moving ahead, like in the next quarter or so, we plan to add like customized workspaces. For example, when you create a workspace, we'll probably ask you like, what kind of company do you have? Is it a SaaS company? Is it a service-based company or an e-commerce company? And we'll automatically tailor the experience according to that. So the menus and the reports inside would probably be more targeted towards the kind of business you have. But that's kind of a future plan right now. And then we have another important integration here for Google Search Console. Um, it's an OAuth integration, so once you click it, it will take you to Google Search Console account. You just have to enter your details, and it will be automatically connected. Once that is done, you will most likely see the keywords in here. These are the keywords that people search for in the search engine and come to your website. And you can also see the number of clicks that have happened, the impressions, the average position in the search engine, and the average CTR. So this is pretty handy, and you can also see the detailed view where you can see all of the keywords that people have used in the search, Google search, or yeah, Google search. And yeah, going back to set up email reports, that's also important if you want to get automatic reports in your email. You just have to input your email here, and you can select the schedule that whether you want to receive it weekly or monthly. If you select weekly, you will receive it every Monday, and if you select monthly, you will receive it the first date of every month. So it's a generic report right now where you can see all of your important stats. But moving forward, we are planning to add alerts and some kind of other reporting elements in the product as well, where you would be able to customize a lot of things and create reports based on your own needs. Yeah, so I have, I think covered most of the basic setup processes. Now I'll jump on to the events here. You can see that user Maven has three different types of events. One, auto captured events, which are all of the events that are automatically captured by us, our script. So when any click is captured, if there is any CSS element present, if there is any ID present, that is captured automatically. If there is any label of the button, if there is any anchor URL, that is automatically captured. So as many details are captured, as many they are present over there. Um, and to give you a quick example of how auto captured events work and how you can create pinned events from auto captured events. I'll open the replug website here. So for example, here you can see we have a few buttons here. For example, sign in, try for free, start your free trial, book a demo, um, and learn more. So
So
we
far,
have quite,
we don't see the replug website over here. We just see the user maven one.
yeah, can you see it
Now,
now?
yeah, now we do. Great.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So you see here, like we have quite a few buttons here. Sign in, try for free, start your free trial, book a demo, and then we have learn more. So if we want to track any of these buttons, like how many people clicked, it can be a button on a single page, or it can be a button on any of the page, or maybe collectively on all pages. So we simply go here and start with the label search, try for free. So once we search, we can clearly see that this button is present on multiple pages. It is present on main replug.io, it is present on pricing, it is present on slash bio links and lots of other pages. So there are two options here for us if we want to create pinned events. One is from this button. It will start from scratch that I'll show you a bit later, and we can try here with this pinned event. So now this is one specific button, and we have all the elements like the CSS attributes, the source page where the button is present, the destination page or the anchor URL where the button is leading to, and the label text. This is one specific button, but if, for example, we remove some of the events, we can make it generic.
Bakar, we don't see the dashboard. We just see the replug site. Now we can. Awesome.
I'm sorry, let me go back then.
Yeah, sorry, folks. We can redo this bit.
So yeah, I was saying that we have auto captured events, and you can search by your label. For example, try for free. I searched here, and I found out that this button is present on the home page, the pricing page, bio links, and lots of other pages. Now, I can either create a pinned event from here, which will give me an empty pinned event area where I can input anything and I can create my own pinned event, or I can start from this pinned event, and it has given me all the elements of that specific button. But this is one specific button because it is leading to this destination URL. It is present on this source page. It has this CSS attribute. Now I can remove some of these attributes to make it much more generic. For example, now I have removed all the elements, and now any button that has label text, try for free, whether it is present on the home page or any of the inner pages, it will be automatically tracked. And even if the CSS attribute is a little bit different, it will be captured and created in the pinned event. For example, I can name it try for free all buttons. I just have to hit save here. Now, yeah, create, and it's created. Let's go to pinned event. Yeah, try for free. Yeah, we have already created this before, but yeah, try for free all buttons. It's here, and yeah, we can even see the detailed activity. So that's the beauty. Like whenever you create any pinned event, it will bring all the data from the time you install the pixel. So if it doesn't matter whether you want to track a button 6 months down the road or 3 months down the road, you will have all the past data with you. Here you can see. And yeah, so if you want to start fresh without searching from there, you can let's try with another. For example, start your free trial maybe. So here we are gonna call it start here. Now, user Maven would automatically give you the suggestions as well. So for example, now I have written start you, and it has already given me the suggestion like there is a pinned event or an auto captured event, sorry, with this specific label. So I've just clicked that and it is selected. Now, if I want to, let's suppose, limit this one to maybe a specific source page URL, maybe just the home page, then I can just type repub.io. I have to add HTTPS as well. Yeah, this one. Uh, why is it not searching it here?
If you just go with replug now, just click it, I guess.
Yeah, I want to click it, but it's
It's not letting you. Yeah, something for us to fix, I guess.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, you can just select the source page URL here, and it will be limited to this specific page and this specific label text. We'll look into it, like why the suggestion disappears. Um, so yeah, and you can also group here with multiple conditions. So for example, we have on the website, we have two different buttons: start your free trial, try for free, and they're all leading to the same page, which is to register for the app. Now we can create two different groups here as well. For example, one is the start your free trial. Let's remove this one, and then we have the label text is try for free. Yeah. So here we can see now both of the buttons are combined, and we can give it any name, maybe like free trial buttons, and we can save it. So now we have two different buttons with the same purpose, with the same call to action, and we have combined them. So this way you can create different kinds of pinned events. So once you have pinned events, you can see all the activity here. And if there is any event that you can't track with pinned events or auto captured events, then we have a process called custom events, which is basically sending the event via API or JavaScript pixel. We have a complete guide here. If you click here on this icon, learn how to send custom events, you will be able to see a complete guide. It's pretty simple as well. It's just that you have to send an event once something happens that is probably not happening on your website. For example, if it's a payment notification that is coming from Stripe or maybe Paddle or something else, and that specific action is not happening on your website, there is no way Usermaven Pixel can track that. So in that case, you have to send a custom event. But if there's anything that the customer or the user is doing on your website, it will definitely be tracked automatically. Yeah, so yeah, and there is one thing that you can do in the custom events as well. Let's go to detail. Let me see if I can find. Ahmad, do we have here any event with properties?
Um, I don't know if we have it in this workspace. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe this one. Yeah, here.
yes.
So when sending a custom event, you can also send properties. For example, a person signed up. We can also send properties like what is their plan. So we can see like 748 people signed up for trial personal, five for professional, five for agencies, and then you can also send in more information like what is the type of company, or maybe their location or anything you want. You can send them as attributes of a custom event, and which in turn can be helpful when creating some other reports in other parts of Usermaven.
One very good example would be that you're sending an event from your um, yeah, some payment gateway, and someone has made a purchase of X amount. You're sending it in as a custom event for that customer, and in these custom attributes, you're sending the revenue that you've generated from them, the total revenue, as well as what they're what they're paying for the subscription for that month, for example. And that revenue is something that we can also use in other parts, which Vakar is going to show you later on.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump into Web Analytics now. So I'm not going to go into much details into other areas of Web Analytics because that will get too long. But yeah, you can see here some of the important details. Yeah, one new feature that we're adding is notes. Like you can add notes or annotate. For example, here you see a note. Um, like someone removed the DNS from replug workspace and the traffic stopped coming in. So we have added a note here, and we can refer to it anytime we want. And then, yeah, you see something new here as well, like top channels and sources. Previously, you were only able to see sources. Now we have channels here as well, which will be available to you pretty soon. Like we have now also uh, like all the channels, paid, organic, paid social, um, similarly paid search, organic search, refer other campaigns, and soon you would be able to create your own channels here as well. So yeah, just passing by that. Now, once we have events figured out, like you can create pinned events. If there is a need, you can send custom events. Then it's time to use those events in different parts of the platform. One feature where you can use the events is conversion goals. So a website can have different kinds of conversion goals. For example, it can be a sign up, whether you want to subscribe someone for a newsletter, or maybe capturing a payment or something. You can create a conversion goal to see how many people actually perform that specific event or action. So we have three different types of conditions. You can use a page URL, you can use a custom event, or you can use a pinned event that we just created. So if you use pinned event, you can select any of that. Um, let's try this one, for example, and you can just save it. Um, and you can pass a conversion goal value if you know. For example, if we know like a free sign up is like $5 or $10 to us, we can just use a static value. But if it's a dynamic value that is coming from the backend, for example, if it's a purchase and you want to send in the values from your custom event, then you can use the properties in the custom event that we just talked about, and you will be able to use those properties in here. Like it's purchased, and then the property is, for example, purchase value, and you will be able to select that variable, and it will be automatically calculated dynamically for each of that purchase. Yeah, let's save this one, and here you have try for free all buttons. We can see how many unique people performed that action, how many total actions were performed, what's the conversion rate on that. We haven't selected any value, so it's 0. And by the way, you can filter these web analytics stats by a simple click. Like if you click anything, it becomes a filter here. How many unique visitors we have got, how many unique conversions, total conversions, the conversion value, and then if we are running any UTM traffic, it's not present here, but you will also be able to see like which UTM parameters are bringing in conversions. For example, here you can see the pages that are most responsible for conversions, and you can see the conversions from countries as well. And you can take the filters down to 2 level as well if you want. Uh, for example, now here we have 2 filters. Conversion goal is try for free, country is USA, and now all of these metrics are based on those 2 filters. This many unique visitors we received from USA, and these many conversions, and this is the conversion rate, and everything else is also filtered accordingly. So you can go to any number of filters, and you can also save them as a view if you want. From here, save view, and that will be saved, and then you can access your saved views from here. So you don't have to apply the filters again and again. If like there are 2 3 filters and you want to save them, you can save them as a view and then access them from here. Perfect. So conversion goal is covered here, and then we have funnels here. So in the funnels, yeah, just showing you a new feature here. We have added an option to lock and unlock funnel here. Previously, we saw a problem like someone created a funnel, another person in the team changed some conditions, and people came complaining to us like something is wrong, the conditions have changed. So yeah, we have to get back to them like your team did change it. So we added a feature like you can lock and unlock a funnel if you want. Yeah, so with funnel, it's pretty simple as well. You can create a funnel, and give it a name, choose the conditions, whether it's a visitor. A visitor is like based on sessions, like that's an anonymous user. But if it becomes an identified user, this is mainly for SaaS companies or membership sites that can be run on WordPress or other kind of platforms, then you can use these ones. So if a person becomes a user by signing up, then you have to use user or company. But for general purpose websites, you can stick to visitors. And then here you have to choose your funnel steps. You can start from unique visitors if you want, or you can turn this step off. And then here also you can choose like page URL, custom event, a pinned event. Yeah, for example, you can choose page URL is contains, add the page URL here. You can even just add. You don't have to add the full URL. For example, here if I want to track slash dashboard, I can just write slash dashboard, and I have to move it to contains, and I can also add a name to the step, dashboard visit, for example. And yeah, you can choose steps, whether it's sequential is where the actions have to be performed not in the strict order, but there can be different other actions within the steps. But a strict order is when each and every step has to be performed in that strict order. Yeah, funnel window. If you if you want to limit the uh, window of the conversion funnels, for example, if you want to track conversions from just last 7 days of the funnel, but the traffic should be considered from entering from the first step, but the last step has to be performed within the 7 days. Then you can set those number of days in here. I didn't give it a name. So yeah, I have just created this funnel, for example, and yeah, it's two-step funnel, simple. 27K visitors, 1.6K went to the dashboard. It's the AI is fetching analytics. It takes a bit of time, and you can see, which is the most promising channel, source, country, and the device. And you can also deep dive in funnels, and you can see like breakdowns by different dimensions. You can compare funnels with previous periods, and you can do a lot of other things here. Not going to go into in detail in funnels because yeah, we'll do a separate session for funnels and all the other features. Yeah, so in attribution here, you can also, so attribution is basically measuring like how each channel is contributing towards conversions. Yeah, just like other updates, we have added some more channels in here, just like in web analytics. So you can see all of the channels here now, including organic and paid. So for example, organic search is bringing in these many visitors and these many actually converted to users based on the conversion goal that we have selected here in the attribution report. Um, so yeah, here you can see the channels, organic channels that are available for conversions. And the way to create any report is you just have to select a condition, and the same three attributes like page URL, custom event, or pinned event can be used here to track attribution for any specific action. So think of attribution like whether you want to track attribution for your purchases, or maybe it's maybe just a lead magnet sign up, and you want to find out like which channel is responsible for bringing in the most leads. Then just select that specific action in this condition, and yeah, no difficult steps here. You just have to select this one, and you can even exclude any referrals traffic if you want, but most of the time you won't have to use that. And yeah, just save it, and you will have this report, and all the reports can be switched from here. And we have different attribution models here as well. Journeys, uh, here you can see the user flows, like how people are flowing for a specific action. So journeys are basically user flows where you want to visualize what people did after performing an event or before performing a specific event. And that event can be chosen just like other conditions here. You can use page URL and a custom event. So this event is a custom event. You can't use a pinned event here because a pinned event can have multiple conditions combined in, so it becomes difficult to then to track the user flow. We might find a way to add that later on, but right now we only have these two options in here. So most of the things you would be able to do that by page URL, but if there is any custom event, for example a purchase event that you're sending in as a custom event, you can just select that, and you want to see like what people did before purchasing, then you would get a chart like this where you will be able to see like some of the bigger paths here, and you will also be able to see like where people are navigating to smaller paths. So for example, here is another path that people are taking, and then there is another smaller path here that people are taking. So you can analyze different paths, and if you find any path that you think should not be there and you see people moving in there, so for example let's assume that this is the conversion path, but some people are skipping from this path to this path. So then you have to investigate like why people are moving from this third path to fourth path, whereas they should be going to this path. And if this is not the feasible path for conversion, you just have to do some conversion rate optimization things, like whether you want to remove that specific page from this location, how did people access this. So you just have to do some investigation and fine tune your optimal path for conversion. And yeah, it can take some time to dig out uh, the important parts, but you can find a lot of valuable information from here. We also give you the most commonly parts if you want to see for a specific action. So for example, here we are seeing a journey like what people did after signing up for ePlug, and we can see the most common paths taken by people after they signed up. And we can even increase the level of these parts. Now you can see here that a seventh step has been added here, and here we also have a seventh step. Yeah, that's about journeys. Yes, Ahmad, over to you if you want to add something regarding funnels, attribution, journeys, and conversion goals.
So there is a lot to talk about each and every module and each and every topic here, and we have been discussing it in the chat as well. Uh, a lot of a lot of the folks here would love to see a separate webinar, especially on funnels and user journeys, as well as we can later on go with other product analytics bit as well. So I think we're going to take that there. Some of the things that are coming up next, which is in our roadmap, and which we're already, it's in the works, is in journeys, we're going to have an option for you to have another uh, a visual chart for it, which is the Sankey. Um, I personally love this. It gives me an overview of all the paths that users are taking, and you can have a lot more steps that you can see in Sankey. But a lot of users are just used to seeing the paths in a more left to right fashion in the Sankey design. So that is going to be also coming up in a few weeks or a month's time. Um, Yes, and we're also looking at how we are going to be integrating funnels with the journey feature, so that you can create funnels from the journeys here, as well as you can also see some journey paths from the first step to the last step on how users are actually traversing different paths when you're making funnels. Um, Nothing more on that for now. I think we are going to be having separate sessions to go into a lot of detail. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to funnels. So yeah, we can take the questions now.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ahmad.
Okay. So there was a question about the custom domain, and we say that you might lose 30% of the traffic, and it was from Maxim, right? You don't see the feature for the spotless tracking. So for having our so I think it depends on pixel white labeling basically. So it depends on what uh, if you're on or if you're on starter, you wouldn't be able to see it. So I think it's only in the paid versions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vakar.
Yeah, I think it's in the pro plan.
It's in the pro plan, right? So it's pro and premium who gets pixel white labeling. The free plan wouldn't. And the discrepancies is something that we have seen as well. I don't know what we're comparing here to, but this is something that we have seen that when the browser actually blocks the pixels, that wouldn't be, sending any events back whatsoever. So you would lose those events. And once you are using first party scripts, then of course those events are going to be sent in. So Ambria is asking if all those features are available for the free version of Usermaven as well. So not all features are available. What features are available are listed on the website. So if you go on the pricing page, there are the features that we have listed on every plan that we have. Um, Free plan is limited to the features. All the features are actually included in the Pro and Premium plan. Pro being only for web analytics and our analysis, and Premium is also for our product insights, basically. Okay. So sharing the differences between cookieless and cookie. Yes, so this is something that is in the works right now that we are reviewing. We are going to have a page up that exactly explains what cookieless and cookie modes are doing. And once we have it, I think we can add that in our newsletter. So you all have that in your email, and we can take it from there. Okay. So I don't know the context of this one. So maybe Maxim, you can add more context to it. So instead of mono source page URLs, would it be possible to consider all URLs in one specific sitemap? The filter would then be dynamic. So I'm sorry, I'm missing the context. Maybe we were talking about something and you wrote a, but we can take the next one for now.
I think maybe Maxim is talking about using regex. Just a thought. I don't know exactly, to be honest.
Yeah,
Because
maybe it
that
was
can,
creation of the pinned events, I guess.
yeah, that can give the ability to, for example, tag all the pages. For example, for an e-commerce website, there can be slash product and then the product name. So then they can have like slash product, and then if they can use static or something.
Yes.
Um,
So regex is
but yeah,
something that we are looking at for in multiple um, modules, basically, and not just this. We right now we do have regular expressions in paths, user journeys, and I think we should be introducing that in other modules as well. So we'll take a note and see what we can do to enhance that.
yeah, Maxim, please reach out to us via chat. Like, just send us some scenario, like what kind of URLs do you have and you want to track. And yeah, maybe we already have a solution for you. And we can guide you. But if not, then we can definitely look for a solution for you.
Okay. So yes, next one, it is recorded, and it is going to be shared.
Yes.
So does the user journey and funnel works also on cookieless? So Maxim, this 24-hour thing is not something that we've implemented yet. Right now we are doing fingerprinting, but that fingerprinting is not for only 24 hours. That is one thing that we are going to introduce afterwards. So right now this feature is going to work for cookieless mode as well. And yes, for the pros and cons of those two modes, this is something exactly that I was talking about. Um, we have some draft up and running right now that we have to review, and we're going to publish it soon. So yeah, I would give this one to Vakar. So would there be any benefits of running Google Analytics as well, like if you're running Google Ads in the UK?
I mean, we don't use Google Analytics anymore on any of our properties. Like we have three different SaaS companies: Usermaven, Content Studio, Replug. We don't use Google Analytics at all, and we haven't found any need to install Google Analytics because for Google Ads, they have a separate tracking pixel and conversion tracking. So they obviously integrate with each other. Then you don't have to install Google Ads conversion pixel, and you can pass conversions from Google Analytics to Google Ads. But you can do that without Google Analytics as well. So just like you have Facebook ads and it has a pixel and you can track conversions using Facebook pixel, similarly, Google Ads is a different platform from Google Analytics. So there are more downsides to using Google Analytics than there are upsides because yeah, they are free, but you don't know where the data is being used. And if you are in Europe or UK, then yeah, that can have some consequences regarding privacy laws as well. And yeah, I don't see any benefit of doing that. Usermaven provides you like almost all of the things, and just on another note, we are working on an integration with Google Ads and Facebook Ads for attribution. So all of the campaigns from Google Ads and Facebook Ads would be synced with User Maven, and you would be able to see like how many conversions each campaign, ad set, or ad has brought. So this is something that we're working on the attribution front. So then that need to see, to connect Google Analytics with Google Ads, that would also be gone. So yeah.
All right, let's take the next one. So Benjamin says that he wants to exclude bot traffic from all stats. So the option must be enabled, right? You just have it disabled when showing us. So yes, that has to be enabled if you want to exclude the bot traffic. We are doing bot detection on the live stream of data that is coming in, and we detect if it's a bot or not. And if you enable it, the bot traffic is going to be excluded from all of the stats. And why it was disabled on this site, it's a demo site. So maybe in one of the demos we did disable it and never enable it again. But usually for all our live workspaces, we have that enabled. So can I track with the Pro Plan WooCommerce sales? So right now, I'm not sure. I would hand it over to Azir maybe, if you can do that somehow.
Yeah, Ahmad,
If you're sending us events, some custom events, either from your backend, then that's something that we can do for sure. Go ahead, Vakar.
yeah, Ahmad, I was saying that so WooCommerce is just like another platform, just like normal website. So normal websites can have purchasing capabilities like selling anything. Like you can sell anything without WooCommerce as well. So uh, if you can send a custom event, just like you can send from other websites, for example, whenever the purchase happens, just send us an event like purchase done, and this is the price and this is the product. And then you would be able to use those properties in different parts of the platform in creating reports. Like in conversion goals, you would be able to track the revenue and all. But moving forward, we do plan to have a proper WooCommerce integration as well, so that you can have a direct integration with WooCommerce, and you don't have to create custom dashboards and everything would be pre-built for you. But since that is not ready yet, so the proper way to do it right now is by sending a custom event. I mean, you can track purchases by pinned events as well, but there can be some discrepancy because when someone hits purchase on the checkout page, we are not 100% sure whether that purchase happened or
Yeah,
not because maybe the card didn't work or maybe something else happened, internet broke down, but the button was clicked and user may would think that that person has purchased, but we're not sure. So the proper way is to send an event once you get the response back from Stripe or any payment gateway that you're using. So once that is done, yeah, it's a confirmed purchase and you can track it in user level.
yeah. This was exactly what I was getting at. So with auto capture, you can only do so much. You can know that the button was pressed, but you're not never going to be sure if the purchase was made. And for that, either you need to send in custom events, and then you can just track it properly. You can then use it in your funnels. You can use it in your conversion goals and anywhere. But as Bakar said, uh, we are considering to have a deep integration with WooCommerce so that we can capture those events. Um, and yeah, then you can have your proper dashboards in there. Next one is from Steve. He says that in addition to receiving events, would you also consider adding the capability to send events? For instance, when a specific event occurs, sending a payload to a webhook. So yes, we are considering that right now. The first phase is going to be on the batch alerting, basically. So for the reports that you have, we are going to be, introducing some creation of custom reports, and then you can send it on various time basis. Basically, you can do it in daily, weekly, or monthly, sending out those reports based on the stats that you have in Usermaven. And the second thing we're looking into is having those um, live KPIs, basically going out as a webhook or on Slack. So this is definitely something that is under our radar and on the roadmap.
Great. I think, Ahmad, you've covered all the questions.
Yes, I think we don't have any more questions in Q&A. Um, yeah,
Yeah, uh, I think it's time to say goodbye, probably. It was a great session. Thanks a lot, everyone, that you joined us and taken out your precious time and you have gone through this webinar. Um, for those of you who might have joined a bit later, we'll be sending out a recording as well. I hope it has worked. I had started, recording this, so if all is well, then we'll be definitely sending a recording as well. So we don't have any questions in the Q&A at the moment. There's one that just popped up. When I want to add a pinned event and the URL has a language restriction, do I have to add X time the amount of languages as our statement? Yeah, Alexander, if you can send us an example, then we would probably be able to
yeah.
answer better. I mean, just send us an example, like what do you see in this in the select box when you are creating your pinned event? Yeah, or maybe even we can have a one-to-one demo session to see the
Yeah.
problem
Either we
that
can
we have.
have a one-to-one demo session or just hit us on live chat
Right.
and get some examples, and we would be happy to help.
Perfect. So thanks a lot, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you on this webinar, and hopefully we'll see you in another webinar where we'll be talking in detail about all of the individual features that we have. So wherever you are, good evening, good day, bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you very much, folks. Just one more thing. If there is anything that you're unsure about, hit us on our live chat, as well as if you have any suggestions for us, please include that in our public roadmap. So we are actually aware of what you guys want to see in the platform. We always prioritize that. So thank you very much for your time and see you all next time. Cheers, guys. Nice day. Bye.